Hello, everyone, and welcome to Zest with me, Shel, the podcast that will take you on a journey from the hustle to the harmony, fueling your passion and finding your peace. Today, it's an absolute honor to welcome the inspiring Patience, who is not only a mother, a healer, a visionary, whose journey of resilience and intuition is going to inspire us all. I am so excited to hear all about her story. She is a holistic health coach and a nutritional therapist, and the founder of Integrative Personalised Nutrition, a unique approach helping children with autism and ADHD through tailored nutrition. Her story began with a simple question about her own child's health. Wow. Leading to years of dedication, research, and faith. Wow. Through her work, she witnessed profound transformation with her son, who was then discharged from special needs support and hospital care, which stands as a powerful testament to her belief, her unwavering belief and faith. And I'm sure we're going to hear all about it, which I'm very excited to hear all about. So let's dive into her story, her mission, her vision, and all that she brings. Welcome, Patience.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
I hope I live up to it.
You will do, absolutely. So let's roll right back to the beginning, and actually just start with the faith, because I know that's something that many of us, whether it's the incredible impact that you have created not only for your family but for the lives of so many people, and I know there's so many people that I will definitely be sharing this episode with. Where did it all begin?
I think my father was a minister, so a Christian, so I think that's where it stemmed from, because I remember 1980, I'm not going to reveal my age.
You look fabulous, don't worry.
Well, I was around 8 years and I had black water fever, so I couldn't walk. I almost died. So I remember they took me to the hospital, and then I was on my uncle's shoulder, so he brought me back to my dad and said, she's almost going. He said, never, she's not going anywhere. So he prayed. Wow. And then I came back. I came back, but then I couldn't walk. So I stayed in the hospital for 3 months. And he said she would never walk again because she'd been dead. He said, no, if she's alive, I'm not accepting anything. She has to walk. So that took me to December. And then he had a convention. He said, before the convention, my daughter is going to walk. And I did walk.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think that's where I said, I've seen so much. So that took me to my formative years. And then when my son was diagnosed with autism 2014, everything started rolling out. I thought, okay, this might be something I have to learn, because everything is for a reason and for a purpose. So I have to learn what I have to learn, but I am not accepting this as a lifetime thing for my son. I will learn, but then we'll go through the journey. And one day, I had the help of my sister. Anytime I called cry, she said, no, this is not what Daddy told us. He didn't teach us that. So cry, bring it all up. And then when you finish, say, okay, Lord, thank you for this journey. Probably I might have to help somebody else. I'll be going, no way, I don't want to help anybody. I just want a perfect normal son. She said, okay, get all the tantrums when you finish. Are you all right? Sometimes I cry for 1 hour.
Get rid of the tantrums. Come on, level up. Thanks, sis. This is only my son we're talking about here. I love your sister, her energy. Wow.
All right, I'll call you next day. I had the support of my sister and my husband too. And my God.
Wow, you're strong pillars, hey?
Yeah.
Really. And I think at those times, like I was speaking about this recently in the other podcast, I think we so often see the fabulous, and obviously nothing is ever an end, but we see the fabulous result, but we do not, which is why I am so passionate about this podcast, is we don't always see the lead up to it. And often the people, the leaders who are creating the most ripples, the most waves, waves have unwavering faith. And oh my gosh, that doesn't just come and go.
No, it doesn't.
It's like continuous. And I'm sure even at this point now where you really, I feel, obviously we never always know fully, but I feel like you've really found your purpose. You've really transmuted not only your own pain, but like the pain you felt with your son into something so precious and gem. And that's why I also put the diamond, because we're going to find those little gems, you know? And wow. So before you even begin, let's just like take a moment to honor that, and also honor your sister for
she was really
giving
there.
You that talk, because sometimes, you know, having the like, it doesn't create transformation. You kind of in those moments, and I'm sure there was those moments where you were just like, can you just give me 5 minutes to just feel how I want to feel? And you know, she's almost like saying, get up, get on with it.
Exactly.
Wow.
I'm like, oh no.
Wow. And look at you now, amazing. So wow. So, and this is the other thing, is we have our ideas, and we have things we want to birth ourselves, but there's faith in ourselves, and you didn't only have to have faith in your vision and your belief, but you had to ultimately make choices for your son.
That's it.
And that is why I was like, I need to hear more about this, because to really go basically against what everybody else is almost saying, you know, like, no, your son's going to be in special needs. Now he's going to be in the hospital. Like, I don't want to summarize it like it's your story. Like, feel free to correct me. But just from the kind of what I read on your website, and to just be like, no, it stops here.
Exactly.
And you to have that unwavering faith. Wow. So,
and he's a miracle though, because let me go back. Because when he was born the 10th of April. So as soon as he arrived, my sister is a midwife. So she was saying, I don't like the color of his eyes. And I was thinking, what is she going on with? He looks okay. So he arrived 11 in the morning. And by 5 p.m., that's when they came back and said, oh, we've realized there's something, so we're going for a test. And she said, this is what I've been saying since 11 a.m. in the morning. And they came back 11 p.m., midnight, when I was fast asleep. You know, Mrs. Cry, we have to take your son. And I'm thinking, take him where? What are you talking about? Oh, we have to take him to NECO. I said, what is that? Specialized? Okay, what is wrong with it? We'll tell you later. Can you imagine? So I had to walk all the way to the door, and then this is where it stops. You can't come any further because it's a special needs place. Okay. So the next day, that's when they told me he's got jaundice. So that's why his eyes were so yellow. Oh, so he stayed in sun therapy for about 3 days with no food. So when he came out, he was asked, so it started from there. So with my experience now, I thought, oh, I should have known this and that. These were the links. Then came the vaccinations that tripled the whole thing, because then his immune system, gut health, wasn't working properly. So we shouldn't have gone for vaccinations. So that's what triggered the whole thing up. So by year 2, that is 2012, I could sense something was wrong, but I didn't know what was it. So that was when they introduced a 2-year program for 2-year-olds. I said, hallelujah. I can have some freedom and go for shopping. All right, see you in 3 hours time. So he started in September. By November, he started saying, Patience, we don't think your son understands what's happening. Patience, we don't think he hears. Patience this, patience that. So then the whole ball started rolling. He went for eye test, his eyes are perfect. He went for hearing test, his hearing is okay. So what is the matter? Okay, let's take him for speech therapy. So that's where they picked it up. Oh, he's delayed speaker. I said, yeah, I knew he's delayed because he could only say one word for maybe 1 week and then he's gone. Okay, so what's the next thing? Now we need to take him to the hospital. So for a whole year, we were going for hospital appointment back to back every 2 weeks until 2014. That's when he said. So that day I went with my husband. Mr. and Mrs. Koraheng, your son has autism. Okay, what do we do next? And that was it. There was no help. There were no therapy sessions. You're just on your own. So on the way to the car, I was like, what did I do wrong? God, why me? What all this? Then something started ringing. Could it be the food?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Could it be the food? Because then I wrote back, when we were very young, my dad was very strict on what we ate. And the main thing we said in the house is 1 man's meat is another man's poison. So when it started ringing, could it be the food? That's what I was piecing together. Is it something he's eating that doesn't agree with his system? But I had no experience. So what do I do? So after 1 week, I told my husband, he said, yeah, if this is what your gut feeling is telling you, let's do something about it. Where do we start? I said, okay. Growing up, I didn't see any crisps, any drink, so I got rid of all that. That's where I started. All the things I said, let's cook from scratch. And Shel, by 6 months, my son was a brand new boy.
Oh my gosh.
The teacher started asking, what have you been doing? But then let me roll back. As soon as I started the eating thing, I took him to Montessori too. Because I said, maybe it's the way I teach him at home, because this boy didn't like books. If you gave him books, that was showing him to rip them apart. So I started, yeah.
I don't know any children like that.
Yeah, exactly. What is this? What is this? So I hid all the books. So at Montessori, they started teaching me different methods of, for example, she said, when it's time for him to write or do something, what do you do? I said, I throw all his toys away. She said, exactly. You're just aggravating the situation. She said, look him in the eye, soul to soul. So I was learning a lot. Communicate soul to soul, and then he'll be responding. So she gave me a few examples. So when the teacher started asking, what have you been doing? I never attributed it to food. I said, Montessori. That's what I said. I said, yeah, I've been taking him to Montessori, and that is what is working. Okay. I think God said, all right, I'll tell this girl what to do again.
Yeah.
So, exactly. So he was
still on your little rock, kind of being like, oh, how do you take it? It was like, right, you know, the rock is going.
Exactly.
You will be seen.
He's not getting it.
Wow.
Yeah. So he did very well at reception. He did very well at nursery. So this is main school. Then year 1, he started saying it. I think he doesn't understand what is happening. He will need help. He needs Cinco. I said, okay, all right, just give him whatever he needs. So his grades started dropping bottom to bottom. And he felt it because he has a sister before him. How come Princess can do all that and I can't do anything? I said, no, don't say that. Everybody has their strength and their weakness. Your time will come. No, but I was told I can't do this. I said, okay, we'll have to find a way to get it. So year 1, same. Year 2, the same. Then he got to year 3. And then he started getting ringworms. Started from the forehead, started eating back into his hair, into the scalp. And I had friends from Jamaica, Africa. They said, oh, we have very powerful medicine to help. And indeed, when we used it, it went away. But then it came back with a vengeance. I was thinking, what is this? So it went on for about 3 months, 4 months. Then the thought started coming, could it be something he's eating? I said, what has ringworm got to do with food? I said, okay, I'll obey the voice. So I started keeping track record, like a journal. I said, Princess, when you get to school, tell me what you ate at school, because 2 years different. So what they ate in school was the same. So I started keeping track. I said, I found a culprit. It was chocolate and pork. So I went back to the school. I said, I think my son is allergic to pork and chocolate. I'm not going to mention the chocolate because some chocolates are good, some are not good.
Dark
They said,
chocolate. 70% plus, please.
Exactly.
I had to learn to love that.
Yeah, well done. They said, no problem, Mrs. Koraheng. Just take him to the hospital and then let them write, okay, he's allergic to this, and then we'll take him off. So I went in with my son and my husband. She said, what can I do for you? I told her the whole story. She looked me in the eye and said, Patience, food has got nothing to do with what he's going through. I almost froze. So what is she talking about? Okay, you can't argue with the daughter. Okay, so all right, I came back home. I said, Lord, what do I do? He said, pack lunch. I said, I went back to the school. I didn't tell them the doctor had refused. All I said was, I am going to do pack lunch from here on. They said, no problem. So from that day, I did pack lunch. And within 3 months, he started improving again. So the teacher said, what have you been doing? He seems to be concentrated. He seems to be improving. What have you been doing? I said, now I know. It's the food. She said, is that so? Okay, we'll keep an eye on him. So I did pack lunch. Year 4, the new teacher called me aside when he entered year 4. He said, I've been watching your son. I think the work he's doing is too low for his capabilities. I want to increase it, but will you sign? I said, it's up to you. I'll sign up. Year 5. But because of his problem, anytime the teacher called me, I just jumped. What else has he done? So year 5, she said, Mrs. Koraheng, I just jumped. He said, oh, no, there's no problem. Your son is amazing. I said, what is he up to now? He said, we gave them maths test, and within 5 minutes he had finished. I wept. I said, Mr. Harris, are you joking? He said, no. He did it outside the box. I said, thank you, Lord. I found the solution. I said, okay. Now all the teachers are testifying. He's okay. He doesn't need Cinco. He doesn't need help. So I said, Lord, the next battle is the hospital and the Cinco leaders. So in year 6, they came back. He doesn't need Cinco. I said, thank you, Lord. I need a written letter about it. So I prayed. I said, Lord, let them come back by 2020. We've discharged your son from Cinco. We discharged him from the hospital. And that will be my testimony. The battle is over. Wow. In 2020, January 2023, I got the letter.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh
Dear
my
Mrs. Koraheng, Mr. and Mrs. Koraheng, we are happy to say your son has been discharged from Cinco, and therefore we, as the hospital, has also decided to discharge him.
Oh,
no more symptoms. Autism. Is this a dream? How many years now? Yeah.
Wow. So there's so much to unpack there, because to start with, I was thinking to comment on the 6 months of you just analyzing the food, which was already like unwavering faith and commitment.
Yeah.
Then it'd be pretty much the whole of his primary schooling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And still trying to do it behind the scenes, I heard as well.
Exactly.
And with that in mind, now we know the commitment, the faith, the strength of you.
Yeah.
What's your vision for the future? No hiding.
Future is to get a ripple effect. I want to help other moms, especially moms, because we are the main primary caregivers for the children, and I think we're more emotionally involved. Because I used to cry a lot, and my husband would say, "He'll be okay, he'll be fine." I'm thinking, yeah, I know he'll be fine, but I'm the one. Why am I crying? Why is he okay? Does he care? And speaking to other moms, it comes up like,
Yeah.
I think the men care, but they don't show that much emotions. We just worry too much. So I want to help the moms, especially help the caregivers, because it's a very lonely journey. It is. If you don't get that support,
community is key.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put it out there because I actually think that it's going to be much bigger than that. In fact, I know it'll be much bigger than that. And I know from being an educator for over 12 years.
Wow. Well,
yes. And this was something I noticed, particularly after lunch times and break times. And even though I'm speaking to them and I will literally go down to their level and say, stop, they can, what they eat has such a big effect on their mental well-being. That's what we want to be talking about, because this is something that is not seen. And then it's the ripple effect in the wrong way of behaviour. Then all of a sudden your child is low, your child is this, your child is this. So I actually see this personally on a much bigger scale, that you've already kind of like set that intention with the name that you have given your vision, by the way. And there is definitely, it's improving, but there's definitely we all need to be talking, like we all need to be communicating. And essentially it takes someone like you who actually, even though you were kind of trying to discreetly do it, no, you need to be, you found the key, okay? You found this incredible key, and you now need to run with it. That's why it was given to you, because you're not here to hide, you're here to be seen, okay, and heard. And I will share this to as many people as possible, but can you just imagine from a mental, well, not, I'm speaking to the wrong person here, you definitely can imagine, but from a mental health point of view of so many people, and this is why I really wanted to speak to you about this as well, because this is actually something, without going into the details, which is very dear to my own heart in my own family, of labeling and medication and that and the other.
That's it.
Not going into it all, and even myself to a certain extent, I recognized very early that there was I noticed when I had certain food and drink as well enter my body, I couldn't even string a conversation together, and it was like there was like almost there's flies everywhere, and so almost calling me like just trying to diagnose, like I never was officially, but ADHD, and it's not ADHD.
Exactly.
It's what I'm essentially what I'm essentially almost spiking myself with. And so I, at first, when I read your quote, which was so wise from your dad, just to re-say, of the one man's meat is another man's poison. I hope that was your dad. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Well, so wise, because as someone who has basically realized now I can't have gluten and I can't have dairy. There's more factors to it than just the self-love and respect of my body, which took me probably up until 5 years ago to be like, no, enough is enough. And then, everyone be like, oh, but you're so much fun when you have Coke or you eat sweets. Yeah, all the jokes on me. Yeah, Miss can't even, keep a conversation going, but she's so hilarious doing everything. But
you're fun to be around, but your body is suffering.
Exactly. And then we have that huge sugar dip. So this is the thing, that we can have that time as adults and reflect on it. A child doesn't have that capacity. They don't have that knowledge.
They don't. So we have to be their advocates.
Absolutely. So just putting it out there, this will be on a much bigger scale, and there'll be no capping. 100% definitely to the families, because I actually often that is the trickier one normally.
Yeah,
I'm
it is.
glad that you're heading that way and then
It
pulling it
is.
back into
Yeah.
schools, because
Yeah.
yeah, I can't speak enough about this. And I even have to say sometimes when I'm doing like art projects and stuff with the younger generation, like I have to say, right, we're going to breathe. Like we're going to breathe.
Yeah.
They can't do it.
Yeah, it has to
They
be
can't
taught.
do it. And
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
their eyes are glazed. It's
That's
like
it.
I
Yeah.
don't want to say the word, but it's like they're possessed. They're just like
That's exactly what I used to think of my boy.
combination.
Yeah.
Um,
When he's
so
ripping the books apart, I'm thinking, Lord, is he possessed? What is Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And
Mm.
even when, like you
It's,
say, you go down to the level and you soul to soul and say,
that's it.
listen, darling, please stop, look at me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they're like,
Mm. Exactly. Exactly.
I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah, they can't.
So yes, I'm
Yeah.
very excited for your vision for the
Exactly.
future.
Yeah.
And I guess, is there, I'm just thinking like as like someone else watching this podcast and wanting to know more, of course they can contact you, but what would well, you said about the eyes, which again, like so wise of your sister to say, but what message or what kind of powerful indication or something would you suggest to someone listening that might think that this could be happening with their own children or someone in their own family? Because I think this
Yes.
is the other, sorry, just one last thing, other
Yes.
important thing to remember is there
Mm-hmm.
are a lot of adults that actually are having this happening to them. So
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
for a fact, without labeling, but I know someone that was very close to being put on medication, to be
Mm-hmm.
basically yeah, medicated. And I know that the mother was so strong about
Mm-hmm.
her faith in her son and his well-being, that
Yeah.
she went against the norm and did not
Mm-hmm.
allow this to happen. And that particular person now, as an adult, has his own thriving business. He
That's it.
is so okay when he has his, and he's aware of this, his Coke or sweets. He's different, but
Yeah.
he is he's completely the opposite of what he was labeled to be, and
That's
it
it.
actually, it makes me really emotional. And
Yeah.
to think that in someone's decision it can change the complete
Yeah.
reality and life of another.
That's true.
So this
Yeah.
is why
Yeah.
this is so important, and I am so honored and thankful
Yeah.
to hear
Yeah.
your story, and I'm sure so many people listening are going to really, really, really have transformational changes in their lives because of you sharing your story.
Thank you.
So yeah, so we went kind of a little bit
I know. So, like
broken,
you
but
said,
yeah, what
what
would
is
your
my
message
story?
be?
So I'll give another story. At church, this is back in 2021. So right after COVID, my daughter, so I have 3 children. The boy is the middle. The last one is 8 years. So around COVID time, yeah, she's 9. So she was around 5, and she kept saying, "Oh, my stomach, my stomach. I don't like going out in church." So I said, hold on for a little bit. After 30 minutes, she kept saying my stomach. I said, okay, let's go out. So we went out. I said, what is happening? She said, I think I might be getting around the stomach. I said, okay. So I pulled the chair. I said, sit here. I'll stand by you. So we stood there for 30 minutes. Then there comes a lady with a boy. And then she goes into the kitchen. And I was just watching the behavior of the boy. So others come in. Oh, you've got to be strict with him. Take him out. So I just watched for 1 hour. So, like they said, all the advice they could give,
and it's so damaging. It's so damaging. And you know what? What really boils down to all of it, not just what we're putting into our mind, our body, but these kids need love.
Exactly.
These kids don't need stand by that pillar and be quiet. Like if a child is acting out because they have no control over their body,
That's it.
How would the solution be to
Be
then
more strict.
quiet them and
Exactly.
put them against a
Yeah.
pillar straight?
Exactly.
They
Exactly.
can't. The reason
They can't do
why
it.
this
Exactly.
happened is because they didn't have the attention span. And now it's like,
Exactly.
you know what?
Yeah.
They're allergic to this, so I'm going to give them more and then see if they can function better. No, like we can't.
Exactly. No.
Can't solve
Yeah.
the problem, the issue.
Yeah.
With the same problem. We have to find a solution.
Exactly.
You know, those ones, actually, the solution in my mind would be, you are going to go and run around the field 10 times. What?
That's
No. Yes, because you're going to get rid of some of that energy. Not now you're going to
Exactly.
stand, which is going to have a knock-on effect for the rest
Exactly.
of the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, obviously, I would not also, like, we're not doing army
The
boots.
health. Yeah. And this was only a 3-year-old boy. So when the mom was passing by, I said, give me a call when you get home. So she did. I said, it's not about being strict. I think your boy has a problem. I think he has autism. She said, what? What is that? I said, don't worry. I've been through it. So I'm going to hold your hand and walk through it.
Beautiful.
And I did that for 2 years.
Wow.
And now he's as calm as ever. So just as you were saying, I said, take out the inflammatory foods, take away the gluten, take away the dairy, and keep a diary. See the foods you give him that agitates him, that makes him act that way. Take it out. Reintroduce it after a month. See the way he behaves. If he starts behaving that way, you know you found your solution. Don't give it to him again.
Yeah. There's just one thing that I would just like to, just thinking about certain situations and knowing like different social and economical stances of people. This could be seen as an assumption, but it's just something I've witnessed, not only in schools and in education, but in general. But what I'm finding, particularly if they have more than one child and maybe a lower income home, is it's much easier to buy the pound pizza. It's much easier to buy the multi-pack of Coke or whatever as the treat, or like the juice that, you know, isn't pure. And so I think, as much as sometimes we have that heart and we have that that wanting to do the best by our children, what kind of advice would you give to people that are, you know, essentially they have to weigh up, and I'm not saying that an apple is a different price too, but sometimes these foods, which is ironic that they're priced so cheap as well, that are almost, you know, going into society, that are not best for us, last a much longer and a wider time. So these families are having these, you know, I'm not just saying it's always lower income families, like it's just the easier option as well. It's seen. So what would you say in regards to that?
I'll say I've been there. I've worn the t-shirt. So, because when it happened, I wasn't working. I had just started a business, skincare and hair care and skincare, because my daughter went through that's another story. So I started 2012. It was picking up by 2014. When he was diagnosed, I was like, business or health? Which one? I can't do both. So I let go of the business. So we're on only one income. That was my husband's.
Wow.
So I had to really, really budget. But then a doctor said, was it Mark Heyman? No, another doctor. Bobby Price said, pay the farmer or pay another way through a prescription, and everything else, your health, your mental health. Exactly. So I had to budget and think, all right, if we buy a sack of brown rice, for example, if we buy tomatoes, I could cook soups, I could cook stews, I could do chicken, and that will last us for the week.
That I'm so happy
Exactly.
that you're
So I've
saying
been
this
there.
because I have
Yeah.
actually discovered
Yeah.
this, and
Yeah.
this is again, it's funny how it's a lack of knowing.
That's
So
it.
one thing, I don't know if this would help some, but that I actually really love doing now is, and I know I'm kind of creating for myself, but I like to look in my fridge and I
Mm-hmm.
actually ask ChatGPT. I put in
That's
the
right.
products.
Yeah.
And I basically say, make me a meal. And I tell you something, that meal lasts me 2 to 3 days.
Yeah.
And it looks like one pepper, one onion,
Mm-hmm.
this,
Mm-hmm.
like
That's
not even 7 ingredients sometimes.
yeah.
And we think that these ingredients are, it's much better to get that massive pizza or this, that, and the other, which I know we are going against something
Yeah.
very strong here
Yeah. Yeah.
but
It will take
it's again, it's
education.
just lack
Yeah.
of education and awareness,
It is.
and it doesn't actually take
Yeah.
longer.
That's it. That's it. I'll show you something. So here's a cookbook I did.
Amazing.
So when I started helping the women, what came back is what you're asking. So how do we give them breakfast? How do you give them lunch? How do we give them dinner with all the budget and the blah, blah. I said, don't worry, I've got you covered. I've been there.
Amazing.
We want to help the children. So I did a cookbook. I said, okay, this is what we'll do. This is what you do for lunch, and then cut out the snacks. Because I said, if the children are hungry, they will eat.
Yes.
I learned that from this woman. She's called, what's her name? Currently, Bellion. She wrote The 7 Secrets of Raising Happy Eaters. And she learned it when she went to France.
Amazing.
And she said, once you create the environment, it's not going to be easy. With my son, it was a battle. Why do I have to eat the broccoli? Why do I have to eat this one? And I'm telling him, this is good for your brain. Oh, do you want to be at the head of your table in the school? Yes, mom, then this will help you get there.
So even in that you've just said, it's actually having those conversations, which
exactly.
are so important, because we're often, again, like imagine as a child, like we're going through unwavering faith and uncertainty, and it's like we just think, no, just do that. No, just do this.
It doesn't work that way. No, you have to come down to their level, because you're just, imagine they drink Cokes, they drink all these drinks, and then suddenly you're taking it away. The dopamine level just crashes, just like that. So
and it's like a relapse. It's like an adult, a relapse.
Exactly. So you have to explain to them why you're doing what you're doing. And then too, I tell parents, don't cook this for the child and say, we are going to eat this. No, the whole family has to be involved. So if we're eating broccoli, yes, we're all having the vegetable soup, we're all having the brown rice, we're all having this, so that the child feels happy. That this is not just me. Oh, is it because of me? No.
That's so important what you're saying.
Exactly.
Yeah, because this was actually even bigger than me honoring my body and being like, no. The thing that was the hardest for me was all of a sudden I wasn't socially accepted, because then, everyone's sharing a pizza and, oh, she's the difficult one that can't eat it. But everyone's doing this and it's like, oh, she brings her own food. Because then imagine that from like out of the social norm of like, I'm thinking it's better me bringing my own food, not to put pressure on someone, but they see as, oh, our food's not good enough for her.
Yeah, difficult. Yeah, you don't understand.
And it's just like, I got used to so much anxiety about eating out. And like, don't even go there with someone saying, oh, let's go on a date. I'll take you for a meal. I thought, oh my gosh, no, we'll go for a walk in the park.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow, Patience, it has been an absolute blessing.
Thank you.
So much there, so much. And I'm excited to follow your transformational journey. I'm going to put all your information, and anyone, just last thing, where can they find that book? Is it on Amazon or?
It is. So it's called Healthy Brain, Happy Child.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Very nice. So yeah, thank you,
You're
And
welcome,
do you have any last words before we?
Um, so to the parent that is struggling and thinks, you're being told there's no other answer but to give the child medication. No, there's another way. Try exploring other routes than giving the child medication, because
Absolutely.
you might end up changing their destiny. So,
yes, and I will be
keep up
sending
the fight.
everybody to this podcast and your way.
Thank you.
Such a blessing, and as I say, I'm just going to keep following you and seeing you.
Oh, and then one more thing.
Yes.
So let's say if the parent doesn't know where to start, take a diary. I always say take a diary.
Yes.
Take out the gluten, take out the dairy, take out all the inflammatory foods. So I always tell them, I said, if your grandmother wakes up or your great-grandma wakes up, the crisps and the things you're giving to your children, will she recognize them as food? If she exactly. If she can't recognize them as food, just don't give it to the children. And then
because it's hidden in everything. This is the thing. Even my mum is like, "Oh, Shelley, live a little, have some crisps." I'm like, "It's got dairy in it, Mum." No, it doesn't. I said, "Look at the back of the packet." Oh, why has it got dairy in it? Because it's the food colouring, Mum. It's the flavouring. Why did they put milk in that? Oh, well, look, you can have ready salted. That will do. Mum, it's gluten.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing it up. So I said, keep a diary, and whatever is in the package, learn to read it. If you read it, I said, if you buy broccoli, it hasn't got any labels. Anything in the package has got labels. If you read it and you don't understand it, please put it down for your child's sake.
Yes.
Exactly.
And even, sorry, one last thing before we finish.
That's it. Yeah.
Even, I'm not saying it's on purpose, but it's funny how it's like sneaks in there, but then they start putting whey protein. So that doesn't even come as dairy, and it has dairy. So they put what the product is made of as the name in not all the ingredients. And I'm like, hold on, why does my tummy look like I'm 3 months pregnant?
Exactly.
Yeah, but I didn't have any dairy. Oh.
It's hidden everywhere. Yeah. So,
wow, thank you.
Thank you too for having me.
Yes, it's been amazing. And you're such a easy, lovely person to talk to. It's just been really transformational. So keep going, keep glowing, and
we have to do it again.
Absolutely. Take care.
Have a blessed day. You too.
Bye.
Bye.